This week is a little bit different. I had a thought in mind where I wanted to use some of the leaves and some of the things I had from outside and bring them in and use some the spray paints and acrylic inks and things like that to create some art that was just a little bit different, art that maybe I could make into cards. I actually like the two that I made to frame them. These are the way they turned out to me, they just turned out very organic and beautiful. So I actually taped it, and sometimes I share the tapes with you. And this week I am, because it's a little bit different than my normal abstracts, but it's a beautiful, fun way to show you some inspiration type paintings. I thought I would just try working with some acrylic inks. And here's FX, and then there's Liquitex. I have a couple different colors. And I have just different things, some leaves from outside. I have actually some cheesecloth here and a plant. This is actually from my corn, like corn silk. And I don't know where this is going to take me, but I wanted to play a little bit with just putting down the ink. Now, this doesn't lay flat, so of course it will go underneath, but maybe I'll turn it like this because I kind of like to have the vein hitting the paper. Let's see where this takes us. I'm just going to start with dropping. I don't know if maybe I should put a little bit of water with it. Let me try just drop in some water. Drop in some water on there. The other thing I can do is maybe squirt a little bit of water. Oh, I like how that's bleeding. If I put some water down first on the watercolor paper, then put the acrylic ink. It's acrylic ink, yeah. Let's see. Here's some raw umber. This is an older bottle. Now the Liquitex is a lot more liquidy, which is interesting. Okay. So what I did is I put the painting with a piece of like waxed paper down, and I'm covering it with some heavy books, and I'm just going to let it sit and dry overnight and pull it up in the morning. All right, this is almost dry. Still a little bit wet, but let's take off. Let me get a paper towel here. Some of the pieces. See what we have underneath. Now, this is not like a piece of art. I'm sure this can be used as collage. I'm sure some of these pieces would turn out interesting enough to be maybe made into a card. I can see that. I'm having trouble on some of these seeing what was the piece down and what is, this is all the print, which is beautiful. I may color that in. Probably be best to use a little tool to pick all this up, but I'm seeing an awful lot of marks. That's really pretty. There's a lot of marks here. Still a little bit wet, so I'm going to color this in. Let's see. This is the corn silk. Let me get my head out of the way. A lot of what I'm seeing is the actual marks and not. So the leaf was pretty, but the concept of what I wanted, it left just more of a blank. But I like that you can actually see the imprint. So let's see. There's some more there. I'm going to have to let this dry some more so that I can run my hand over it. But there are a lot of beautiful marks. And I can see this like as a snapshot, maybe embellished a little bit, but even a snapshot of this made into a beautiful birthday card. So we're going to let that dry a little bit more. And I'm going to grab the other one, which was a larger piece. Let's see, did the whole thing get in the frame? I wanted to pop in here because I didn't film this one. When I started out, I wasn't quite sure what I was doing. I had gone out to the garden and was kind of cleaning it up and pulling some of the dead brush out, and that's when I said I'm going to collect this and bring it in. And so I didn't film this, but it's the same process of laying it down. But I want to show you what I did to embellish this one, and it's the same process for any that you would do to kind of make it pop a little bit more if you're not really happy with what you've done just from the initial putting down the inks. Here, yeah. So this has got some interesting marks. This was grass from outside. The silk from the corn was a little finer. There's a leaf. So this is a little easier to see. It's still going to have to dry a little bit for me to run my hand over it to ensure, because it's almost like some of the pieces I can't tell between what is a mark on the paper and what is still a piece of grass left. But look at those interesting marks. So let's let this dry some more, and then we can run our hand over it. But that is, to me, really beautiful. They both are, in their own right, have some beautiful textures to them. So let's just dry a little bit more. So as you can see, I didn't capture this on film, but I splattered down some more of the paint, the acrylic inks, and laid down the grasses and flowers again. And then you'll see me do some spray paint. I'm just trying to see if I can embellish this a little more, and I do. So I'm going to cover this again and let it sit for longer and put some pressure on it to let all those paints blend in. I really like how when they blend in, you don't know what you're going to get. And this was just so much of a surprise to me as it was to you. But I would do this again. And I really hope you give it a try because the outcome on these was really beautiful. So after this fully dried, this is what this looked like. And I just think it turned out beautiful. You could embellish a lot more on here. You could like splatter some gold, maybe put some more gold, maybe do some writing. I like the organic, just the way it turned out. I'm going to leave it the way it is. I think I am going to mat it because I like it. And this other one is, to me, equally beautiful. I like all the extremely organic little spaces of white in here. And one was done with thicker grasses. This was done with the fine silk from the corn on the cob. And it gave a quite a bit different look to it. And I really like the way the leaves showed up in here. They both just to me turned out beautiful. So here's another example of the same painting. I hope you enjoyed this. It is a lot different than what I normally do with my abstracts, but sometimes you have to just go with the creation when creation inspiration strikes you, so to say, because I never know how I can incorporate this into my other larger pieces of art, and in some way I will. And I could have not shown this to you, but I think sometimes we all go off on a tangent of some sort where we get inspired by something in nature or clothing that we see at the store. A lot of people are very inspired by fall and the colors. And this is a way that you can follow your inspiration and create something you don't know where it's going to take you. And I had fun. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please, comment below if you've done anything like this. This was new for me. And please do a thumbs up. I'm still growing. My channel just still doesn't get that many views, and I get discouraged sometimes. And I would love to have a thumbs up to kind of help YouTube, push me out there a little bit more. Anyway, thank you, and I love you, and I will see you next time.